Sweet Lifers, welcome back to the Sweet Life YouTube channel. So today we're answering a question from one of our followers on Instagram. She was afraid to do anything with her peace lily. So she had watched it sort of start to suffer, looked like it was getting root bound, but she knows from past experience that peace lilies can be dramatic. So we already know they're dramatic because when they're happy, their leaves are upright. When they're sad, their leaves are down, and they let you know when they need to water. But there are some folks out there who just water too often or don't water enough, and they're in that space where their lily kind of suffers because of it. So one of the ways that you can deal with difficult plants is by transitioning them to water. I know it seems counterintuitive because you're like, but what if they water too much? Isn't that the same thing? No, because soil is the factor that changes things up. You can do this with a lot of difficult plants that like to have their soil stay moist. So calatheas, marantas, these lovely little peace lilies. There's a whole bunch of them, and you can drop in the comments other plant names that you might want to transition to water, and I'm more than happy to give you hints and tricks and see if it's actually possible. So today what we're going to do is we're going to transitioning them into these lovely vases. I choose to keep them clear so that you can watch the roots. So watch for root rot. Also, it's just really fun to watch the pot fill up with roots. So it's nature at its best. We're going to transition them into these, and we're going to use water, but we've spiked this water to contain fertilizer. So we've got a little bit of a live elite with a little bit of marfil. So one will boost the other, and Bob's your uncle. So what we need to do first is we need to take an objective look at our peace, well, this isn't our peace lily, our calathea. So all of this dirt is gonna have to go as much as possible. And whatever dirt that we can't get off, which is probably on these thin, fibrous roots, we'll probably end up cutting those roots off. So no big deal. It's got these thick, luscious ones that we're gonna leave alone. And it's just more aesthetically pleasing when it's in the water and in a clear vase. Vase? Wow, a vase. A vase. Vase or vase?
Potato, potato.
They kind of sound them.
Potato, potato, girl.
Vase or vase. We're going to put it in this vase, and we want the water to stay as clean as possible. So we're going to try and take off all the soil. Now, any plants that get transitioned to water, they 100% need their water changed. I say once every 2 weeks, but make sure that you add fertilizer in as well. So if you were transitioning once a week, that middle week you wouldn't add fertilizer. But this to me just makes more sense. So this is how we're gonna do it. All right, I'm gonna start with the peace lilies because they're not as dirty.
Not even remotely, thanks to me.
Thanks, Velda. So starting with the peace lilies, we're just gonna try and get as much of the dirt off as possible. This is just like room temperature water, and you're just gonna gently, and I've seen people take like brushes to the roots. I just don't think that's necessary because that's pretty much is good enough. So we're gonna do that to all of the roots. The calathea is gonna be a little bit harder, but we will make it happen. All right, that's good enough for our purposes here. A little bit of dirt never hurt anyone. And of course, once it is in the water for a while and we change the water, it'll get cleaner and cleaner. So no worries, we'll just start from there. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put these into these jars. I tried to get ones that match, but you know, buying a village. $2.99 and was $3.99, but I bargained them down to $2.99 because this one looks identical to this one. It feels so good. All right, so like I said before, I put in the recommended amount of Alive Elite and about 50% of the Marfil that we need. And I put them in there, complimentary, and we're going to pop them up. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of water in here first to make the least mess possible. So because of those two ingredients, the water will be a little opaque, like it won't be perfect. But we're just gonna, oh, see, some of the dirt's coming off. That's okay. This is good. It means that it'll be clean by our next round of water. All right, and then you just sit it there like that. Isn't it pretty? I can't wait until the roots are a bit more clean and you'll be able to like watch them grow out. And your calathea will be perfectly happy in the water for as long as you need it to be, as long as you remember to fertilize. And that's it. I just need to quickly make more of this, and then we're good to go. I just used the cap because it's approximate measure. There's about 10 milliliters in there. It's supposed to be a 1 to 20 dilution, but I don't think we need that much when we're in water. It's only when it has to transport itself through the soil, which gets a little more complicated. And same deal. Or a bit more. It works. So, bacterial component, fertilizer. And I know they're meant to be soil enhancers, but they can work in water as well. And this one's gonna be a little tricky because I don't want to sink and drown the babies. So we're gonna put the big guys in first. These roots are so amazing. And so I have repotted a peace lily before where, you know, it was just root bound, so all I did was divide it. And didn't the one that I took out of the original soil just croak on me? And that's really just because like I didn't take into account the fact that when you transition things into new environments, they need a little bit of time to bounce back. But if you don't give them the tools they need to bounce back, they're not going to be able to. And so those tools are fertilizer. You always have to put fertilizer, or if you're rooting something like a root stem into your water, because otherwise it's just not gonna be as efficient. And yeah, that's just what I have to say about it. But again, it's one of those controversial planty subjects. All right. And so there's our lovely peace lily doing a little turn. And the best part is these roots are going to be amazing. And if you do decide to transition up into soil again later, you're going to be working with a really healthy root system because it'll fill the pot and it'll be beautiful. Follow for more Sweetlife YouTube.